Kurtenbach, Associated Press. Thank you. Going back to Karsten's question, I'd just like to ask a little bit more specifically about the psychology issue, because it's so important to the Japanese policy. In that, if you listen to Bank of Japan Governor Kuroda, he constantly refers to inflationary expectations. Now, I'm interested in what you think, to what extent it's a matter of wages catching up with inflation, to what extent it's a matter of these inflationary expectations that are at work here. Will these be enough, or is it merely the matter of shaking things up so that there's opportunities for entrepreneurship and so on that can really turn the tide? Because clearly the tide doesn't seem to have been turned yet on these issues. And people are worried. Like you say, they don't want to spend money. So thanks.
Yeah. I didn't come here to present a program to restore the Japanese economy. I'm sorry, I don't have that.
Disappointing them, yes.
So yeah, confidence is a difficult thing to manage. I'm thinking of Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book about confidence. He talks about hockey players, and he finds that it wasn't his result, but some research showed that in Canada, hockey players who were born in the beginning of the year, in January or February, have a higher probability of becoming star hockey players. Why is that? Well, they figured out the reason. It's because when they started playing hockey at age 5, they grouped them by year. And so if you were born in January, you were one of the oldest players on the 5-year-old hockey team. And since you were 20% older, you would just naturally do better. So they got confidence at age 5, and it just swept them through the rest of their life. Someone born in December tries out playing hockey at age 5, doesn't do well, just gives up, and it's gone. So it's things like that that are very hard to manage, and I don't know that I have any concrete advice how to manage them.
Now, you did meet with Mr. Abe, what, a year ago?
Right.
Any thoughts on his perceptions of where things were headed, or advice you gave him and whether it still stands?
I have to apologize. I did most of the talking. I thought I was there to advise him, and he wasn't there to inform me about his deep thoughts. But we talked about the third arrow, and I remember telling him, this seemed odd, that let's not go too far in dropping Japanese values. So here I am talking to a Japanese prime minister in favor of Japanese values. Well, in 1991, I wrote a book for the 20th Century Fund in the United States called Who's Minding the Store? It's a short book. And in that book, I talked about long-termism and other attitudes that I wrote that right at the peak of the Japanese market. And I had the same attitude. So I was wondering, why is Japan so successful? And what I said mirrored what a lot of people said, is that Japan is successful in the 1980s because it takes a long-term focus. It's not bent on short-term profits. Japanese corporations are able to patiently wait and exploit opportunities over many years, whereas other countries, because of the short-term focus, they can't do that as effectively. And so part of the reason this works in Japan, I said back 30 years ago, I said, oh, not quite 30, but part of the reason it works so well is it creates a sense of loyalty and a commitment to good work that you have in Japan. It's almost unique to Japan. So that's a Japanese value that I was actually admiring. I was among others who were admiring that then. So now it looks bad now. People are thinking, well, maybe the Japanese corporation is too locked up in, you can't get rid of people, you can't change things around fast. There's too much politicking. Well, there might be truth to that, but I was just saying, don't go too far in the other direction either, and maintain remembrance of Japanese strengths. We still admire you for these things.